What's an opinion you have that might piss some people off?
The inevitable overturn of Roe versus Wade will be the downfall of the United States. Allow me to explain. As someone who has worked in hospitals with children exhibiting extreme mental health crises, the problem always leads back to the parents. So if you have people who are keeping their children because they cannot get this procedure, and if the parent did not want the child, you are most likely going to get bad parenting. But this not also affects the parents, but also affects the teachers who teach these kids, mental health professionals, social workers, and so on, which will lead to even higher levels of burnout in these fields, which means less individuals in these fields, and probably more people on disability. Also, if someone's a victim of bad parenting, they're probably going to have their own mental health problems, including substance abuse. So essentially, we are just churning out children who never had a chance in the first place.
As much as I love everyone, bear with me, I just got off work. As much as I love everyone and the body positive movement and whatever else, like, if you're making a video and you're like, let's start normalizing normal bodies, and you show off your tiny little belly, that small amount of belly you have, and otherwise your frame is very very thin, you aren't as revolutionary as you think you are nearly at all, because the comments you get, they're gonna be like, oh my god, icon, yes, normal bodies, people have belly. But they, if I posted something like that, think of your skinny little self posting about your little pooch that you have, and then think of me. Do you know what I mean? I post something like that. If I were to say, hey, let's normalize this body, I'm gonna get bombarded with terrible, mean people saying you're glorifying obesity, you're gonna die at age 22 because you have diabetes, and I am also a doctor and I know everything about your health. I'm not gonna say stop posting videos like that. I wish I could, but I would sound really mean if I did. But just consider that there are people much bigger than you who have bigger problems than a little belly pooch. I'm sorry.
I'm going to jump! No! Oh! Do a flip!
Is there anything that's ever been more capitalism than Nancy Pelosi officiating the wedding of an oil oligarch's daughter covered in shards of broken glass that probably cost more than my car? It's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. CNN's like, no, the Democratic Party isn't run by oil oligarchs. Meanwhile, here's Nancy Pelosi standing on a quadrillion-dollar carpet marrying off the daughter of an oil oligarch. It's like a physical example of how close the US government is to the private sector and oil billionaires. And CNN just published a fluff piece, oh, look at how aesthetic this wedding is. Pay no mind to the fact that these oil billionaires are destroying the planet. Just look at the pretty shiny dresses and Nancy Pelosi, woohoo! It's so beautiful.
So I came out as non-binary a little over a year ago. When I started interviewing for jobs, I was still in the closet about my gender identity. I was also dating a guy at the time and was afraid to come out because he was straight. Well, that relationship ended, and after I got a job and moved out to Seattle, and after I saw how accepting my district was, I finally became open about being non-binary. I do get a lot of questions from students at the beginning of the semester, and I just answer those very honestly. When we do class introductions, I have everyone include their pronouns, and I talk about why it matters. And I always encourage students to ask questions if they don't quite understand, because I know to a lot of those students, I'm probably the first non-binary teacher they've ever had. I always assume good intent with my students, so if someone makes a joke or cracks a comment, then I use it as an opportunity to educate them. Patience and love are key.
Well, in this country right now, Latinx people are being oppressed, and it's been going on for years, but things that our last president did made it worse. So separating children from their parents, MPP or remain in Mexico, literal concentration camps, which yes, I know have been going on since Obama. Wasn't good then either. DACA ending, children being ripped out of their mother's arms. It is absolutely an oppressed place for Latinx people in this country today. So I am using my white privilege to talk about that, to stand up for it. I've been an immigration activist for years, and I'm trying to help get more white people on board because I don't want anybody in this country to be oppressed. But until people who have the power in this country use that power to change it, it's not going to. People of color have been screaming at white people for help for 400 years, and we've been ignoring them. It's not going to change until we, white people, start.
Walk, please. No. You gotta go like this.
So I saw this video of a cop forcibly removing a masked subway commuter for asking him to put on a mask. And at first I was confused because there are signs all over the subway stations and subway cars asking people to wear a mask. But then it occurred to me, maybe the NYPD don't know how to read. So I skated to my local mask stand in Chinatown to pick up some masks for them and myself. Just because unemployment benefits ended and the government deems the economy more important than human lives doesn't mean that we're not still in a pandemic. Next, I went to Dunkin' Donuts to get some pig bait. I thought my look was giving, but not everyone seemed to agree. Finally, I hopped the turnstile like all New Yorkers do. If you're upset that I committed fare evasion, I just want to let you know, I'm just following the examples of the pigs in this video. Previously, when I tried to give them masks as it was mandated on their job as cases were skyrocketing, they refused them. So this time I got creative and attached masks to a fishing pole with donuts as bait. And finally, it was time for me to go fishing to see if I could trick the pigs into wearing masks on the subway and for once, get the law enforcement to follow the law. Well, it didn't go so well.
I have a mask for you. Fishing for mask? No, it's the law. It's the law to wear a mask. Come back.
When on my way to another station, this pig seemed intrigued by my donut or something. I'm not sure what he was looking back at after I passed, but the whole interaction made me feel disgusted, so I decided to clean my aura with hand sanitizer. I then reminded this pig that his mask goes over his snout. After only 19 months in a pandemic, it must be hard for their small brains to remember that a mask actually goes over your nose. A couple of the NYPD were able to get the hint, and I got a few of them, surprisingly, to put on a mask. However, this one was so offended about the idea of following the law that he called up for backup and even pushed the mask back at me. I must have gotten the wrong flavor of donut or something.
And by the way, I have a question, and don't fight me because I know
it's a fair question and I have the answer, and here's the honest to God truth. Because the rainbow seems to offend you people, quite literally repels you. And you know what they say about an angry Republican? It's Wednesday. Here's my counter. Why do you people like to pretend like your ancestors didn't eat their slaves?
My cat died today.
Get a new one.
Good day, Mama.
Hi, yes. I might be wearing a skirt today, but I'm still non-binary. This does not mean I am a female. Neither does me wearing makeup or these earrings. I still prefer they them pronouns. And I'm non-binary.
I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard the idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children. But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction.
Me on my way to get my Joe Biden blue hair pronoun liberal Steven Universe vaccine, Pfizer, girl boss Kamala Harris, Yas, Pill Charlie, XCX.
Okay, so I can't be the only guy that does this. I need somebody else to help me figure out if I'm the only one. When I'm out in public and I want to compliment a girl on an accessory or her hair or anything like that, and I'm really not trying to hit on her, I make my voice as effeminate as possible. Okay, not necessarily as possible, but I make my voice extra effeminate. I'll go, oh my God, your hair is adorable. I love your purse. Because I don't want her to feel like I'm coming on to her in public or, you know, trying to make her uncomfortable or to be one of those guys that's will hit on anyone, anywhere, anytime. It doesn't care that they don't want to be hit on at that moment. Like if you're at a gas station trying to pump your gas, you look like you just got off a 12-hour shift and you just want to go the fuck home. The last thing you want to hear is, hey, I like your pants. No. You want to hear, that purse goes so well with those shoes. You look amazing. And I just need to know if I'm the only guy that does that, or if there are more people that take that into consideration.
This is honestly top 10 moments of 2020.
Black Lives Matter defund the police. I find it disgusting that the LAPD is slaughtering peaceful protesters on the street. I had 2 friends go to the protest in Beverly Hills a couple of days ago, and the protest was peaceful, so the police showed up with their excessive violent force, shooting rubber bullets and throwing tear gas. Is this what you think of protecting and serving? Because I think it's bullshit. Fuck you, Michael Moore. I refuse to call you an officer or a chief because you don't deserve those titles. You are a disgrace. Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Like he said what needed to be said.
It's full-time obesity promoter. And as someone who is personally really big into fitness, this obviously triggered me.
Yes, I just woke up. But let's discuss how a fat person triggered you into making a joke about hurting yourself. Every single person has a different lifestyle. I don't want your lifestyle. That's yours. I have my own. That would be like me seeing your skin and being like, oh, I'm gonna hurt myself because he has acne and I take care of my skin and wash my face. Does that make sense to you? Does it legitimately make sense? Fat phobia goes so beyond just, I don't like that person's fat body. People don't get the health care they need. They don't get hired in jobs. They don't get the love they deserve because they're fat. And no, they don't have to lose weight to fit into your standard. And again, fat phobia is anti-blackness. Sit with that. You are a joke.